Hey guys, sitting down here. This is going to be my chapter review to One Piece 965, the Kurozumi Clan Conspiracy. Now, as per usual, another solid chapter from Monsieur Oda. Let's get right into it. The cover page, Beige shoots down this captain of the other crew, saying they're trying to stay low. This is Capone Gang. Beige. We then go straight to a scene which we'll call Odin and the Whitebeard Pirates, which is a little bit more than that, but that's just what we'll refer to it as. And we start off with a scene where Odin is speaking to Toki, wowed by the fact that the world is so huge, it's spherical, and how tiny Wano is in comparison to the rest of it. And he asks Toki where she's from. She turns out her parents were originally from Wano. Little side note here: her family name. I think we were introduced the chapter before this one when he first meets Toki, but her family name is Amatsuki, which is one of the five. It's one of the five families of the daimyo of Wano before Sukiyaki's reign. So before Odin's father's reign, Odin's grandfather's reign, there were five daimyo, and they're powerful families. And one of their families, one of the daimyo, was of the Amatsuki clan, of the Amatsuki family. So she seems to be from a powerful family at the very least, but she's from like 800 years ago. So that's way back in the past. Maybe they weren't that powerful back then. Anyway, she's very, very upright and quite flirty with our boy Odin, obviously having gotten the hots for him. Meanwhile, we see Mako, Jozu, Vista. They're all watching, blushing at the fact that Toki is so forward with the fact that she likes Odin. And then we see a close encounter between. That was just like a cutie part, kind of leading on to the fact that they're going to have kids. They have two kids while they're on Odin's ship within like 2 years. So like these guys were going at it. They were trying to make kids every year. But yeah, she's very flirty with it. And it's kind of cutesy, but it kind of leads up to the fact that, you know, they're going to have kids while they're on the ship. We then see a close encounter between the Marines and Whitebeard, where the crew just sail away to avoid confrontation. Odin learns here of the existence of the world government for the first time, with Whitebeard ominously declaring how Wano is still free of their grasp. Apologies if you can hear noise from somewhere else. That TV seems to always be quite loud. Anyway, in the second year of his voyage, Odin has a child with Toki, obviously Momonosuke. Now Odin isn't one for ceremonies and processes and stuff, but I thought it would have been a big thing in Japanese or Wano culture, which is you know what Wano is based off of, to have a child out of wedlock. I thought that would have been a big thing. Unless obviously someone married them on the ship, but surely there's a more official process to it, especially being the heir to the throne and all that. But I suppose this goes to show once again the free-spirited nature of Odin and his refusal to be held by borders or boundaries, and he just kind of does what, you know, Odin does what Odin does. So then we have Izo, who points out that it would be better for Toki and Momonosuke to go back to Wano, so that they should journey back, including Odin. God damn, that TV is loud. Anyway, Odin makes a key point here that he hasn't found what he was looking for on this journey, that in his heart of hearts there's something that's still not complete. He just doesn't know what, so he continues on his journey. We see the initial formation of Whitebeard's fleet, where he appoints 5 division commanders in order to spread out his growing numbers at the time. He appoints Odin to commander of Division 2. Much to his discontent, he makes that kind of ugly face. And then we see this orphan being taken aboard Whitebeard's ship on some random village. His name? Teach. So that little bastard, that little shit, had been with Whitebeard since he was a boy. He was an orphan child, and he did his adoptive father dirty like he did. What a little shit. You have a special place in a hot place, dude. Anyway, the next scene we'll refer to is kind of like the rise of Orochi. So we then go to Wano, where, you know, this being the most important part of the chapter for me, all of the daimyo are tending to Sukiyaki on his deathbed. This is the shogun, this is Odin's father, as he announces that Odin will be his successor. However, seeing as Odin is not in Wano at the time, he appoints an interim shogun, if you will, until Odin's return. Someone who Odin treated like a little brother, Kurozumi Orochi. And I was like, wait, what? Something's wrong here, you guys. Like something's not quite right. Something's fishy. So Orochi thanks Sukiyaki, he thanks Odin even though he's away, kissing ass when necessary, talking about how he'll redeem the honor of his name, of the Kurozumi name, after the sins of his grandfather, which we know nothing of, but we'll come to. And it's important to note here that Yasui was instantly suspicious of Orochi. He's like, wait a second, you ain't like a little brother to Odin. I've seen you guys, but he not only, this is in reference to Orochi. He not only hid the fact that he was a Kurozumi clan member, but also how that the fact that he was being addressed as like a younger brother to Odin. Yasui knew straight away. He's like, I don't think so. However, seeing his shogun describe him as such, Yasui really couldn't do much. He's like, okay, maybe in the time that they've been together, maybe they've really tightened up or something like that. But he accepts it and tries to, I assume what he tries to do then is aid the young man in his duties as interim shogun. We then get this awesome flashback within a flashback where we see how Orochi was twisted and eventually groomed into becoming the shogun of Wano. Honestly, big props to Oda on this part of the chapter. For this part of the chapter, the scene setting, the unknowns, the callbacks to previous parts of One Piece and Devil Fruits and stuff like that. Awesome. So we see that Orochi had visited some witch or some shit. Much like Cersei in Game of Thrones, actually, for anyone familiar with the books, and how she goes to this witch, and the witch is all just like, yeah, you're going to have kids, you're going to be a queen, you're going to be married to a king, and your kid's going to die. That's basically, essentially what it was. There were other parts to the prophecy, but that's kind of what it was. And Orochi gets something similar. This witch decides to fill Orochi in on the crimes of his grandfather after telling Orochi that you're going to be shogun, man. And he's like, what the fuck, really? Okay, cool. And she's like, let me fill you in on the crimes of your grandfather, who committed seppuku for some reason. And she claims that he was killed by the Kozuki clan. But let's look at the information she gives and how she very, very delicately twists the information in order to steer Orochi in the direction of hatred towards the current shogun and his family. So she informs us that the previous shogun, Sukiyaki's father, did not have any children to succeed him. The 5 daimyo at the time, and we had their names and stuff like that, is Shimotsuki, Amatsuki, Fugetsu, and then 3 others, Kurozumi, and then 2 others I can't remember. But the 5 of those families of daimyo at the time began to wonder which of them would succeed the shogun when he passes, considering he can't have kids, believing themselves obviously to be the best candidate. Call back to the beginning of this review, we see the Amatsuki clan here, having been one of the 5 daimyo families prior to Sukiyaki's reign. So this is once again referring to the family of Totoki. Technically, these would be her descendants, but also technically not. Another quick note from J Mini's box here. All of the family names, all of the daimyo family names have the word moon in it, apart from the Kurozumi clan. This is kind of instantly showing you, just symbolically, I suppose, the allegiances of the family apart from the Kurozumi clan. Kozuki being that, their symbol being the moon. These other 4 daimyo were very loyal to the Kozuki clan, but the Kurozumi clan, not so much. Anyway, the Kurozumi leader, Orochi's grandfather at the time, thought he'd use this opportunity to begin poisoning the other daimyo, who fell one after the other. The news of his daimyo passing away caused the shogun to become stressed, bedridden with illness. With success almost within reach, the Kurozumi daimyo, obviously aiming for the shogunate, must have been like partying it up, like, yay, we're gonna do this is sick, until the shogun's wife had a baby, Sukiyaki. With his birth, the Kurozumi plot was eventually exposed, forcing their leader to commit seppuku, disbanding the family and retaking all of their land. Now, seppuku is a very kind of, how would you describe it? It's a very, I used the word before, it's kind of like a process. It's something that's done or offered to a daimyo or something like that, someone with a station or samurai or something like that, to preserve their honor. In the last few seconds of your life, will give you the honor of redeeming yourself a little bit by taking your own life, so that you clear yourself of your sin. Whether or not they're actually fully cleared of it, I don't know, but it's kind of seen as like, this is your last action, let it be an action of honor. Take your own life and redeem yourself a little bit. So at least that was given to this Kurozumi daimyo, but his lands were still taken, his family was still disbanded, the name of the family, the Kurozumi name, was met with scorn whenever people would speak about it. And this is actually what the witch goes on to speak about. She's crying at this point, talking about how the Kurozumi clan, the name itself brings people scorn from people, how they were forced to live in homelessness. And it's weird because she's crying about it, but I don't think she's a part of the Kurozumi clan. I think those are really crocodile tears. She very clearly steers all of this hatred towards Sukiyaki, towards the Kozuki clan. His birth was the reason for the Kurozumi's exposure, for their defeat. And somehow, some way, Orochi is stupid enough to believe here. He's willing enough to be manipulated into believing that this is Sukiyaki's fault. Whereas in reality, the first few things he said was, "Wait, wasn't my grandfather done for treason? Wasn't that the thing that he was told to commit seppuku over?" And that's the truth of it. The way this witch steers it is, when is vying for power, when is battling for power ever something which is treasonous? When is it ever a crime? Well, it's a crime when who you're battling power over with is the person that you said you would serve, that you would be loyal to. You are his daimyo, you are a leader of a prefecture, of a constituency, let's say, and you serve the shogun. That's how it works. And just because he couldn't have a kid, you go and poison all the other daimyo, all the other possible candidates for the next shogun. You go and kill those guys off, so making you the only one left. And then you're trying to take advantage of the shogun in his ill state to try and take over as shogun. That's treason as treason gets. So even though Orochi at the beginning had the correct idea of, my grandfather was told to commit seppuku, was given the option of seppuku after having committed treason, she still somehow weeds her way into his mind and somehow steers him in the direction of, this is all Kurozumi, this is all Kozuki or Sukiyaki's fault. This is the Kozuki clan's fault. My grandfather died. My name, my people, my lands, they've all been taken from me because of the Kozuki clan. And somehow he gobbles all this shit up. So he then asks her, he's like, "Yo, are you from the Kurozumi clan?" She answers that her identity does not matter, but it does. It really does. The reason why it matters is because of the plan she details for Orochi in the next couple of pages to rise into his shogun, and the powers she displays, the powers being one actual power. But she displays the ability to utilize, to change her appearance based on people she's touched. This is the exact same ability, and it's the exact same fruit as Mr. 2 Bon Clay, the Mane Mane no Mi. And first off, what this means is that she, this lady, this witch, or he, we don't actually know what it is, she should be very, very dead, quite possibly, because her fruit is no longer with her. Her fruit is with Bon Clay. So she should be dead. She should be playing no further part in the story apart from the things that she's already done, which may still be in motion. Now, while displaying her abilities, she shows the face of a young Shiki, the golden lion. Now, this suggests that she touched Shiki's face at one point. Who the frick just goes up to someone like Shiki and touches his face? Mind you, she or he might have been in a guise, might have been some beautiful young woman who went up to Shiki and maybe they got up to some freaky shit, some, Bangkok shit. And she may have touched his face in that time and then was able to take his guise. But that would mean that she was at some point able to get somewhere near Shiki. This seems like a very, very marine-worthy thing. And she also hands Orochi a devil fruit, the Yamata no Orochi, a mythical Zoan fruit. So once again, being in possession of a fruit like that, the mythical Zoan fruit, the Yamata no Orochi specifically, being in the possession of a fruit much, which is very, very, it lends itself well to infiltration missions. It just seems like she may not be Kurozumi and she may be something else. Her plan is, Orochi, what you need to do is hoard gold, manufacture a shit ton of weapons. Using these weapons, you'll be able to get the backing of some big players. Like who? The world government, let's say. There's a big shout within the community, and I think it's a big shout within the community. I saw it once or twice on Reddit. So big shout. There's a big shout that this lady and maybe the Shamisen dude in the back, I'm not actually sure who he is, were a part of the then CP0. And it makes sense to me because we have Whitebeard talking about how Wano is still a free country, only for us to see CP0 infiltrating and putting their own puppet shogun in place. It just seems like a very ominous thing for Whitebeard to say at the beginning of the chapter, only for us to then see later on in the chapter that, oh shit, maybe they're not as free as we thought they were. The world government obviously would love to exploit the craftsmanship of the Wano people, so it makes sense that they sent in individuals who could infiltrate and replace Wano shogun, and then enter this lady with the abilities of the Mane Mane no Mi and Orochi, a child maybe who could be manipulated into biting the hands that have fed him so far. Only just with like a small story of this is what your grandpa did, this is a jackass he was, and this is why you should kill the current shogun for killing your granddaddy, even though all he did was be born. So we see Orochi's journey from this point onwards after having visited the witch. He goes to Hakumai, where he meets and works for Yasui. He runs away, stealing all of Yasui's gold. Well, Yasui seems to be pretty affluent, actually. I'm not sure if it's all of Yasui's gold. He just steals quite a bit of Yasui's gold. He then goes to Kuri, asking the naive Oden for more and more money. Oden casually just gives him this money, like, yeah, he said he paid me back, which is weird, but, apparently that's how Oden rolls. We then go to the Flower Capital, where a fake Oden proclaims to his father's retainers, and possibly his father himself, that Orochi is like a little brother to him and should be given a job in the castle. Key point to note here, if the witch was traveling with Orochi, she can probably transform into everyone of note. Yasui, Oden, we see the Oden one, Kinemon, Denjiro, Ashura Doji. She could probably turn into some of Yasui's retainers. She can, or she or he can turn into pretty much anyone. If she's clever with how she utilizes her fruit. So let's say she just turns into some pretty lady, touches Oden on the face, he gets all happy, touches Kin on the face, he gets all happy and all that good stuff. She's then got two very important figures who she can now transform into, especially someone like Oden, where she can go to the Flower Capital unannounced, unawares, and all that type of stuff, and be like, yeah, this person is cool, you should possibly consider him for a job in the castle, which is exactly what he did. So we then see Sukiyaki and Orochi laughing as they fake the scene where Orochi is announced the interim shogun, a ploy designed by the witch, no doubt. Sukiyaki is announced dead shortly thereafter, granting Orochi all the power of Wano. So this is how Orochi originally rose to the power and the position of shogun. We're now going to wait for Oden to come back to Wano, where I assume he assumes his shogunate, and then we have some sort of issue where Orochi already has the dedication of the people or something like that. He already has the loyalties of the people. He already has the backing of like CP0, maybe even the Marines, of maybe Kaido at that point, and then he undergoes, or he performs a coup against his shogun, the person that he should be essentially preparing Wano for. He then overtakes as shogun. He forces Oden into giving up his throne by killing him. So the last scene we have is the Roger pirates. We go back to Whitebeard's ship, where they're approaching an island where all animals are running away from this one island, and they dock on the island, and we switch perspectives. But before that, it's actually I can't believe I missed it. It's key to make mention of the fact that at this point, so this is during the 4th year of Oden's voyage. So during the 2nd year is when they had Momonosuke. During the 4th year, so 2 years later, he and Toki had Hiyori. So they've had their second child at this point, 2 years younger than Momonosuke, and that's all well and good. They have 2 children now. So we switch perspectives from the Whitebeard pirates, and we go straight to the Roger pirates, having just kicked the shit out of a group of Marines. We see Crocus, we see Rayleigh, a carefree Shanks eating chocolate on top of the body of a Marine. He just looks very kind of Luffy-esque here. Kind of. There was also that Wonder Rice guy in Bleach, the Aranka, the Espada at one point, that was created to counter Old Man Yamamoto. That's the kind of vibe I was getting from Shanks. Very carefree. We see a stressed Buggy because he just saw Whitebeard land on the opposite coast. We see Scopper Gaban. We see a big ass fishman. We see this dude in the back with spiky hair looking cool as fuck. And then we see that Roger, rather than run away from Whitebeard, says he wants to encounter his rival, seeing as this may be the last time that they see each other with Roger's conditions. So this is where I assume Roger will somehow gain Oden and possibly Toki into his crew. Oden said that he didn't have the answers to his questions, but maybe he feels they can be answered by hanging with Roger for a bit. Maybe he sees something in Roger Maybe he also possesses the ability to hear the voice of all things, and he hears something from Roger that makes him think, you know what, this is where I can go find the answers to my questions, and that's why he goes on this final voyage with our boy Roger. But that's the end of the chapter. I enjoyed it. I'm fully convinced. I feel like this witch must be something to do with the Marines, must be something to do with CP0, the original guys. But somehow, some way, she probably dies. Orochi probably stabs her in the back, because we know that the Marines don't really have control over Wano. The CP0 seems to have some flex, some weird power over Wano, some weird input into Wano. Not really a power over Wano. But I get the feeling that Orochi stabbed this person in the back, this witch in the back, and he was like, see you later. Just because he seems to be, I can very, very easily see Orochi as a backstabbing dude. Anyone that's able to give him help and then possibly say that to the country that, I helped this guy achieve his shogunate, he's going to stab them in the back, silence him. He's that type of guy. We've seen it before. So let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. It was a long-ass review, even though I'd already written everything up. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for my Hero Academia review, which was also good. So I'll see you guys in a bit.